Alexander C. Bennett has 2 PhDs in Human Studies and Sciences from the University of Canterbury and Kyoto University. He holds the ranks of 7th Dan Kyoshi in Kendo, 5th Dan in Iaido and Naginata, 3rd Dan in Jukendo and Tankendo. He is professor at Kansai University of both Kendo and Japanese culture and history, vice president of the International Naginata Federation, member of the International Committee of the All Japan Kendo Federation, director at the Japanese Academy of Budo, co-founder of the Kendo World Magazine, and author of several books in English and Japanese. This series starts with Alex's first visit to Japan, his first encounter with Kendo, and what put him on the tracks that led him to where he is now, 30 years later. Season 1, Episode 2. A year of tough Kendo training leading to an epiphany.
My gut feeling is that perhaps he did see something in me, because the way that he handled me, in retrospect, he was pretty clever about it. I have a cheeky personality. Even at high school, I was a bit of a cheeky young lad, and I think he sort of liked that. So he knew that he could push me on certain things and have a bit of a laugh at the same time. And he never really pushed me until about 6 months after I'd been in the club, and then one day he just went to town on me. He just thrashed me, killed me. And that was the experience that actually was, in many ways, the epiphany that Budo is just something else. It's a different world. It really is a way of life, a philosophy. It's so much there, so much depth. He was waiting for that chance, I think, and he chose it perfectly. If he'd done that when it was a really, really tough, hard training, and he just basically cleaned the floor with me like a mop, right? And allegorically killed me many times over. And if he'd done that earlier, there's no way I would have stuck around. It's like, no, this is wrong. This is not why I do sports, for example. But he waited, and he built it up, and then one day he chose the moment and to tell me that, well, actually, this is not a sport. This is a Budo, and therefore, to really understand what you were doing, you're going to have to go through this, let's just say baptism by fire, as it were. And so in that sense, to answer your question, I think he saw something in me, but he also knew that, not because I'm not Japanese, it's not something that should be taken for granted. There's certain things that have to be gone through first to make me feel comfortable with what was going to happen. But yeah, he treated me like everybody else in the club, with the same kind of discipline and scowling and all the rest of it. But he was, I think, he was a clever enough instructor and an experienced enough instructor to know how to introduce a student like me who knows very little or knew very little about Japan or the language into this hardcore aspect of Budo. So, yeah, I think he saw something. If he didn't see something in me, he probably wouldn't have bothered. As you know, being a Budoka, it's just a lifelong adventure, isn't it? And there are times where you do get disillusioned with Budo and all the politics and the crap that happens. But there's certain things that go, this is why I'm here. And so I've had, it's a roller coaster ride, but that's what life is, right? And it was a series of events throughout my life, my late teens, my 20s, my 30s, now I'm in my 40s. There's a series of events that just sort of connect everything, which has kept me going. And, I've been very fortunate, I guess, in my position. being a foreigner who was actually really serious about it, you get a lot of attention from people. Some of it's unwanted, but some of it is very valuable. And I guess after my year at high school in Japan, well, after that incident with my sensei, about 6 months into doing kendo, where he just beat the crap out of me in the nicest possible way, but it was horrendous. And then I sort of he took me to the zone. This, how can you say it? It was almost like a religious experience. I can't think of a better way of saying it, but it just suddenly made me realize that, hey, just do it. You just let go. And then you get this incredible sense of freedom. But to get over that threshold, that's the hard bit, because it's scary and it's painful. But then you just when you go over it, you realize, hey, what was I holding back for? This is like I'm floating in the zone, like in a flow state, and everything at that point, everything that I feared, suddenly wasn't scary anymore, and it was just a perfect kind of. It wasn't. I mean, it didn't last for long, but it was about 45 minutes of hell. But the hell actually was only about 20 minutes, and then suddenly I went into a different world, and so that was my first taste of the real hardcore aspect of Budo. If I'd been doing something similar, like hard training in soccer, I would have stopped, had a break, had a few drinks, reset, and then gone back into it. But you can't do that when you're doing a martial arts training. It's like you just go and go and go and go until you drop, and when you drop, you got to back up again, and you get pushed down again, you get back up again, just keep going until hopefully, the sensei says enough, good, okay. So that was my first, like I said, after 6 months, that sort of made me realize there's so much more to this, and so I became hooked after that. I just became addicted to the pre-training dread, heavy stomach, oh God, here we go, what's going to happen today? And then the post-training euphoria. So it's like hell and heaven all in one day, every day. And I became addicted to that, I guess, that kind of really polar opposites of emotion that flow through your body, through your mind, every day at training. It's like it almost cleanses you in many ways. But when I went back to New Zealand after a year, admittedly, it's like, oh, phew, I don't have to do kendo today.
In the next episode, Alex will tell us what happened after he returned to New Zealand and how he managed to get back to Japan and resume kendo training, as well as how he helped establish the International Naginata Federation.
So I got my shodan, yeah, so I could show my friends my shodan up. Why don't you start a club? It's like, yeah, why not? I thought stupidly, in my naive 18-year-old. So for me, it was a purely physical exercise, and and you'll probably laugh at this.
Stay tuned for our next episode on Seido's channel.